Tonight on the Pioneer Sideline, Best of the West. The women's basketball team completes a perfect season against the West Division. But what challenges are ahead?
Jumping back into action, we sit down with a track and field athlete who returned from surgery to immediately qualify for nationals.
And Best of the Best. The Olympic Games bring together the world's top athletes, but which sport is the hardest to compete in at the Winter Olympics? We'll debate.
It's time to come on down to the Pioneer Sideline. Good evening and welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm Sarah Maculin.
And I'm Josh Krupp. The women's basketball team wrapped up its schedule against the River States Conference West Division last weekend.
And they did so with perfection.
That's right. The Pioneers finished their regular season schedule Saturday at Alice Lloyd against the West Division with a comeback finish to improve to 7-0 against the West.
The weekend started with Point Park rolling past Asbury with a 90-51 victory. Then Point Park traveled to Alice Lloyd to face the division leader.
Point Park overcame a 10-point deficit at halftime to win 80-73 and improve to 8-3 overall in RSC play.
As the Pioneers have done all season long, they finished strong against Alice Lloyd. And for that, we're going to start our show tonight with Kiera Fry.
Kiera, now the focus really turns to the RSC East, but Point Park has to be happy with this 7-0 mark that they put up against the West this year.
Definitely. They were very strong playing this weekend, especially the defense, and it's definitely a confidence booster going into the end of the season that they were able to be 7-0 against the West.
Yeah, and you mentioned confidence booster. I mean, they were 7-0 against the West, and they just got that big win against Alice Lloyd, who's the West leader. So how does that give them that motivation and that shape up to know they can compete in the East, knowing that they can beat the West?
I think it definitely helps them get into that mindset because coming off of two big wins this weekend and ending with 7-0 against the West definitely boosts their confidence, and it shows them that they can do what they need to be a big competitor, especially the way that the defense performed this weekend with how many turnovers that they were able to get and how many steals they had in the game against Asbury.
The full court press defense has been suffocating this season, and we're getting a live update right now. It looks like we just blew it against IU East from the East. Right now it's 98-94, and I think that's the final. Point Park was on the road at East. They're one of the top teams in the country. They blew us out at home. So coming within 4, there's still another possession here, but it looks like it's over. So dropping this game against East is hard, but looking ahead to this weekend, what do we got on tap for this Saturday?
We'll be playing Ohio Christian, and I think that the girls they'll play very well considering it's their last home game, so all of the seniors are definitely going to be very hyped up. And even though they'll probably lose to IU East tonight, it's still, like, how close the game was is definitely also contributes to their confidence because it does show them that even though they lost it in the end, they were still able to compete. So I think that they know that as long as they come out and do what they've been doing this season, they'll be able to beat Ohio Christian.
Now, we've talked about all season how kind of the two big things with this team are rebounding and turnovers. When they get rebounds, they win, and the turnover factor. And we just saw it in the game now. They turned the ball over on offense to give IU East the win. So what, in terms of, does Point Park need to do in order to limit those turnovers but also produce on offense?
I think they just need to play smarter because sometimes you see girls taking shots that they normally wouldn't. So I think that when we're in close games, they need to be more cognizant of whether they really think that they can make those shots. But when it's games that aren't as close, it's nice to see the girls take those shots and go outside of their comfort zone.
Senior Day this Saturday against Ohio Christian, and the rest of the schedule is on the road for this team. Thank you so much, Kiera Fry. We'll see you back here next time. Well, for the men, Sarah, the struggles just continue to pile on.
Yeah, it's not getting any better. Point Park is still winless on the 2018 calendar year with only a few games remaining. The men didn't have the success on the road that the women did.
No, they certainly did not. The Pioneers started off the weekend with a 39-point loss against Asbury. Those are the clips you're seeing right now. Asbury shot the daylights out of the gym. They finished with the Point Park team did finish that road trip with an 18-point loss against Alice Lloyd. They allowed 100 points in both of those games. They've allowed 104 the last 5, Sarah.
Yes, and the men have a rematch tonight with the number 2 team in the country, the IU East Red Wolves, who beat Point Park in one of those 100-point games by a 122-85 final a couple weeks ago, which we saw, and it wasn't very pretty.
It wasn't pretty at all. That game was at home tonight. Point Park is in IU East territory. They're about to tip off there for the final time this weekend, though. We'll see the men back in their own territory, and here to break down that matchup and the weekend that the men would like to forget, we bring in Taylor Spirito. Taylor, thank you so much for coming on. It was not a pretty weekend for Point Park.
Not at all. Like you said, they lost against Asbury University 119-80. They lost against Alice Lloyd College 104-86. The Alice Lloyd game wasn't as bad as the rest of the season has been for this team. They were down by 9 in the first half, like when the first half ended, and then they were down by 9 the second half. So obviously that led to an 18, point deficit. But they didn't do as bad. Rashawn Roberts, he got a career high 24 points in the game. Daniel King, he's really been stepping up. He got 22 points in that game. And Fusini Kanate, we talked about him last week, he had 14 points. They also had one less turnover in that game as compared to Alice Lloyd. They were better at 3 free throws, and they were better at the 3-pointers. So it wasn't as bad. Obviously, it wasn't the outcome that they wanted, but they're really getting to the point where they're bettering their chances of, maybe having another upset with IU East tonight. Maybe not, probably not. But the Ohio Christian game, there's a very good chance that we could beat them because they're not having the best season either.
Now, what do you think the key for this Point Park in leading, what's their struggle? I mean, is it offensively? Are they not putting enough points on the board? Or are they putting too many points up the board, which we've seen before. We saw the last time they played IU East with 122.
I think it's a problem with they're getting in their heads too much and they're allowing too many points on the board. We've talked last week about the academic probations. There's only, I believe, 7 people on the bench, so they're really limited in their players and their abilities. But at the same time, they can't let that get to them, and I believe that they are, and that's where these 100-point games are coming from.
Well, thank you so much, Taylor. We hope that the men can get a win this weekend on Senior Day against Ohio Christian. Coming up after the break, we'll see who stands in the way of the referees. The Patriots for their 6th Super Bowl, plus the Pro Bowl is always a fantastic event.
And we look forward to our Cases of the Week, where we'll debate with the Olympics going on, the Winter Olympics, what is the hardest sport to compete in individually? Stay tuned for more.
T. Why should you watch and focus?
Because, why not?
Turn. Why should you watch and focus? Because I produce it.
Welcome to In Focus.
Hello. This is so we don't run out of time.
Put up a goal just
Right.
because it.
In a little bit closer, please. Let me bring this in. Yeah. I wanted to do a game. So,
Game time. All right. Game over.
Yay.
Oh, wow. Did we get that? Darius, why do you watch and focus? Because In Focus is great. Chris! Game time! Game time! It's not game time. It's a promo.
Start your morning with us. I'm your host, Jess Paterchek.
And I'm your host, Alex Grubbs.
Good morning and welcome to another episode
That is what
of
happened at the
Daybreak. I'm
cathedral
your
on
host,
Monday.
WPXI. The state wants to
This was
take
Monday.
$357 million out of a trust fund that is
Some of that
typically
wintry
devoted.
mixed stuff could get me. I'm gonna care for you.
What up? The diva himself. Only on Daybreak.
55% of all U.S. multiracial adults have been subjected to racial slurs or jokes.
Where were you born? Being smart, pale, to Filipino, to go back to Mexico.
There goes that black boy over there. You like fried chicken because you're light skinned. You are a cop. You think that you're better than us. The N-word.
They're good at jumping or climbing. Border hopper. Made taco. English your second language. Where's your green card?
Cut the jokes, stop the stereotypes.
Welcome back. The track and field programs have had no shortage of success the past couple of seasons, Sarah.
And one athlete contributing to the indoor team's success early in this season is senior Sean Berry.
Sean is qualified for nationals already in 2 events. 2 weeks ago, qualifying in the high jump, and then most recently last weekend qualifying in the triple jump. Sean, your specialty, the triple jump. First of all, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries.
Second of all, 2 weeks ago, you get the high jump qualification, going to nationals for the first time. What was your reaction whenever you learned that you met the standard there to get into nationals?
I was extremely happy as soon as I hit that height. I got it on my first try, so I was super excited. Then I went to another height, and I didn't make that, but I was still super elated about it.
And you said it was surprising, like you weren't expecting the triple jump's your specialty, and the high jump, we talked, you don't get to practice that a lot. So how do you kind of go into that preparing for it, and are you just winging it?
Pretty much just wing it, but I had a lot of practice when I was in high school, so I'm just try to remember what I learned back then and try to apply it on the meets.
And the bigger story, coming back 2 weekends ago, your first meet since knee surgery. First of all, how does the knee feel? Second of all, your first meet back, already qualifying for nationals, that had to have been exciting.
Extremely. After knee surgery, I felt really, really bad. I've never felt that sick in my life. But the months following, I was training and whatnot, and then it got stronger and stronger. Now it's probably about like 70% of what it was in the past, so I'm getting there.
And a 70% knee, how does, you're getting to nationals on 70%, what does 100% look like for you?
Well, hopefully this year it's going to look like at least a 14.9.
So now you said your knee's about 70%. Are you still rehabbing that knee in order to try and get it to full strength, or you kind of think it's where it's at?
I try and do a little rehab every day. Some of the things that they give me at the trainers, I try to do, but it's getting harder and harder to remember to do them.
14.9 would put you at some of the tops in the country. Your teammate Dry Davis qualifying earlier in the season with 14.51. You qualified with 14.38, so 14.9 would be great. Do you and Dry have a little competition with each other to see who can out-jump each other there in the triple jump? Because the triples is his specialty as well.
Yes, we usually do. He's the one that keeps me motivated to keep getting better in triple jump, and we push each other. It's a really healthy relationship.
So you qualified for nationals in 2 events, and you still have a bunch of meets to go before nationals actually take place. What's your kind of motivation, or do you have any more goals for yourself this season?
I still want to hit long jump nationals, because that's the only other event I do. Since I hit 2, I might as well hit the last one, right?
How does jumping in indoor season compare to outdoor season? Because right now we're in indoor getting ready for outdoor, but what one do you prefer, and what are the biggest differences that you see as a jumper?
Indoor is infinitely better than outdoor. Outdoor is just, there's a lot of conditions that are not ideal when jumping, like wind sometimes can help you, but most of the time it doesn't. How cold it is, you have to stay warm because you don't want to get cold and you'll end up jumping less. So indoor, it's just all the conditions are perfect. But usually your marks are usually wrong in indoor, so that's the only thing that's pretty bad about it.
So in terms of going from indoor to outdoor, how do you make that transition, being ready to battle those, you talked about the weather, battle the weather, and kind of keep your numbers where they're at?
Layers, pretty much. You gotta dress warm for the weather, because outdoor is gonna start in a few weeks right after nationals, so it's still gonna be pretty cold. And the weather this year has been pretty unpredictable. It was like 50 degrees the other day, and now it's 13.
That's Western Pennsylvania for you, in this entire region, really. So before we go to outdoor season, we have nationals in Pittsburgh. Kansas, no H on the Pittsburgh, fake Pittsburgh. But you're going to nationals in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Before then, though, the River States Conference Championships at Tiffin, the first time we're having an indoor championship for the conference. Has there been any talk yet on the team side for trying to qualify for nationals as a team at the indoor meet?
We always try and go out there and do our best. We want to win the indoor conferences because I feel like we have a really good chance. We have a bunch of new people that just came to the program that are really good, and also a bunch of return athletes that are also getting better from last year. So.
Now, how important is it? Obviously, you can qualify individually, but teamwork is important in track and supporting your team and qualifying as a team. How is it that you transition from being that individual and competing as an individual, but how important is it in turn to compete as a team and be there for your team?
Usually when people are doing their events, you hear the whole team cheering for you if you're running laps or if you're jumping or whatnot. So that is a pretty huge aspect. Cheering for your teammates and whatnot helps. But I personally wouldn't know too much about the whole team aspect because jumping events aren't really that team-oriented. But our women's 4x4 has made it to nationals also, so that's pretty exciting.
Making their debut as a team, too, last week,
Yes.
and that was exciting to see. A lot of exciting things to see from you individually and from these two teams all season long. Best of luck to you. Thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck on continued success this season. Well, coming up after the break, the latest national headlines.
And later, the top international athletes will come together soon for the Winter Olympics. But what sport is the toughest to compete in at the Games? All that and more. Don't go anywhere.
If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be.
Spending just 7 minutes climbing stairs each day cuts your risk of a heart attack in half over 10 years. Sure, elevators are convenient, but you burn twice the number of calories just going upstairs than you do while jogging. Think about how long you spend waiting for elevators. The average person spends the equivalent of 2 years waiting for elevators over the course of their lifetime. Don't let that be you. Save time and increase energy. Next time, take the stairs.
Let's go.
Five, four,
three.
Sideline! Welcome back. The game football fans everywhere have been waiting for is finally here. Super Bowl 52 will take place this coming Sunday and will feature two #1 seeds.
For more on that matchup, we'll turn things over to Aaron Becker. Aaron?
Thanks, Josh and Sarah. The best of the best players in the NFL took the field Sunday for the final time this season in the Pro Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers had a Pro Bowl high 10 players selected, and newly promoted coach Randy Fichtner made his debut as the Steelers offensive coordinator under head coach Mike Tomlin. The NFC led 20-3 in the third quarter, but the AFC stormed back to win the game 24-23. The AFC's offense fed off of 2 touchdown catches by tight end Delaney Walker, who was awarded the Pro Bowl Offensive Player of the Game. However, the play that put the game away was the forced fumble and recovery on quarterback Jared Goff by linebacker Von Miller, who was honored with the Pro Bowl Defensive Player of the Game. But all these players must now wait until next season for a shot at the Lombardi Trophy. But the two teams that do still have a chance at the Lombardi Trophy this Super Sunday are the Philadelphia Eagles and New England Patriots. The Eagles are coming into this game as the underdogs after losing quarterback Carson Wentz back in Week 14 to a torn ACL. But they have stayed alive through stellar defensive play and a good running attack to help backup quarterback Nick Foles have success, while quarterback Tom Brady and head coach Bill Belichick are heading to their 8th Super Bowl together. And it's looking hopeful for the Patriots as Tom Brady had his stitches removed from his hand and tight end Rob Gronkowski returned to practice this week after sustaining a concussion during the AFC Championship game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The big game, Super Bowl 52, will be played in Minnesota as the countdown has already begun.
Now, Aaron, you mentioned Tom Brady got his stitches out. Rob Gronkowski looks like he's going to play. So what are the keys to victory for the Eagles if they want to upset the Patriots in this big Super Bowl?
There are very few blueprints on how to beat this New England Patriots team year in and year out, but it starts with defensive play. People have always said you got to put Brady on his back, you got to make him uncomfortable, and that's when he throws, sometimes inaccurately. And then they got to stick with what they do offensively. They have a great running attack with Jay Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount. You keep the ground game going, keep the ball on your side in your possession for the majority of the game, and if it comes down to the fourth quarter, hopefully you come away victorious.
Thanks a lot, Aaron. Also, no lead is safe against the Pats. Coming up next, it's time to embrace debate with the case of the week.
It's almost time to kick off the 2018 Winter Olympics. What sport is the toughest to compete in at the Winter Olympics? We'll debate next.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family.
Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
Welcome back. The Olympics bring together the world's greatest athletes from all different walks of life and shows us the true spirit of competition.
And it also brings together some of the most difficult and interesting sports that we don't usually get to see. Some are harder than others, but which one is the toughest to compete in at the Winter Olympics?
It's a hot case, and here to debate it is Megan Masiosi, Mike Turk, and Nick Kisiski. Mike, let's just dive right in and start with you. What Olympic sport is the toughest?
And then we're going to jump right in. I'm going with the Nordic combined event because it involves skiing, jumping from high altitudes, and just a lot of speed, and it takes a lot of strength in your legs to land on that. You see these guys reaching at least 60 miles per hour, guys and girls, I should say, at least 60 miles per hour downhill. Then they jump into the air. Sorry if I mess up the shot, but they're leaning like this the whole way. They keep going like that, and then they land. That's my legs. I forgot my visual. I would have broken a pencil. I would have snapped. You know how strong your legs have to be to land that jump successfully? Strong.
Right down the line, I guess.
All right. Well, I have ski jumping, which is just the first half of that, because I think what yours is kind of like combined. So that's like 2 sports in one, so it's not really fair. And it's a team sport. We're doing individual. So I'm going to go ski jumping because of what Turk had said, but also because you're judged on the distance you travel and also style points. So as Turk's little demonstration right there, if you move even an inch, you automatically lose 3 points. And it's been a sport for about 94 years, and over that 94 years, there's only been 10 perfect jumps.
Nick?
You know, Sarah, you said that sports you usually don't get to see. In my sport's curling. You definitely never get to see that. I mean, you got guys with brooms. You got a guy, rolling the stone. And that stone, keep in mind, is 40 pounds. That's pretty heavy. That's pretty hard to lift. I mean, I know, like, I don't even know.
It, you don't lift
wait,
it.
Wait. No, you have to. You have to kind of lift
it's shuffleboard on ice.
I'm sure they have practices like where they
Are we doing individual sports?
Huh?
Why are these
I don't
team
know.
sports?
All right.
It was that Olympic
I'm
event.
gonna change mine to just the broom guy.
Clarification.
Mainly the guy on the right. The broom guy on the right. All right, the guy on the left, like he's working. The guy on the right, his veins are popping. His face is all in it. He's like, he's like really going. He is really like, getting into the sweeping. I wonder if he cleans his house like that, Like, he's like walking around the kitchen like.
Now, Mike said comparing it to shuffleboard. So what takes curling to the next level compared to a shuffleboard at the old folks' home or on the cruise liner?
Well, no Disney, but it's on ice.
Oh my goodness!
I mean,
Can
that's like way different than shuffleboard.
Wow, that was.
I will add to curling. I love curling. It's a Canadian sport, and I love Canada. It's a great country. But did you know, Nick, that there is a curling club in Pittsburgh?
Of course. I mean, I kick curling. Yeah, I know about. Yeah, I actually used to be a part of it, but then
But then you didn't qualify for the Olympics that one time.
I was actually too good. They said, Nick, listen, man, give the competition a break, and I said, all right, fair. So
that's why you're here.
Yep.
What is something new about you?
I'm happy I'm here.
Now, Mike, have you watched this event?
What, curling?
No, the event that you picked.
Your event.
The Nordic, the one nobody knows the name of, and I didn't know the name of until 2 hours ago. Yeah, I watched it on TV, not in person. I don't go up to Seven Springs. I don't like giving Bob Nutting my money.
Doesn't sound like a true fan.
Here, folks. You heard it here first. But what makes yours tougher than Megan? She made her case about hers being harder than yours, but what makes your sport better? I think curling is going to fall below these two, though.
I hate the Disney on Ice line, though. So you got to put that in one of your bars. Put it in one of your bars. But no, they're going from skiing like, oh, goodness, how much is it? 8 kilometers? How far is that? I don't know kilometers. I'm bad at math.
It's 10
He runs, what's 8K converted
What's
to
8K?
miles?
2 miles.
Oh, 5K is 3 miles. So
wait, no, not 2
miles. It's 3.5. Yeah, a 5K is 3.5 miles.
Yeah, so it's more than 3.5. So they're doing a lot of skiing, and then they go downhill. I don't watch the Winter Olympics. Then they go downhill so fast, at least 60 miles per hour. At least 60. My car starts shaking at 60, going down 79.
I think you just forfeited.
You're helping
you
my
you
point right now because this is my sport.
The Winter Olympics.
I watch curling.
I do watch curling. Yeah.
I do.
I just think my sport is a little bit tougher because before you go into that second event of the 10 kilometers, they do get like a 5-hour break to catch their breath, reload, and go back out. So that's why I think mine's harder because you take your 3 jumps. You have maybe about 5 to 10 minutes when you're taking the ski lift back
and
up.
And you get a team score in this
and
one,
they get
so
a team
your
score.
teammates don't get to help you, if you slip a little bit there. Nick, I'll let you make one more case for curling because I just want to hear it.
Oh, man. It'll sweep you off your feet.
There it is.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was so romantic. Are you now? Another question: winter or summer games? You don't watch the Winter Olympics, but do you watch the summer games?
Oh yeah.
All of you. The winter or summer? What one would you prefer?
Summer.
Summer.
Winter X Games is better than Winter Olympics. I personally think.
Does anyone watch the X Games?
Snowmobiles, man, they're doing double backflips on those things. Come on, that's like every redneck stream.
We need that in the Olympics.
If there was like summer like curling, like where the ice is melting,
called
and we have to like
shuffleboard.
hurry up. No, like with the
Shuffleboard.
ice, you have to hurry up and like before the ice melts. That would
defeats
then
the
I would watch it.
purpose. No, I definitely prefer the Summer Olympics over. I think there's more opportunity for individual and team sports. And I think the sports are more fun. Like you have beach volleyball, you have gymnastics, track. There's so many different events.
And it's more built up than the Winter Olympics.
I agree.
Are me and Turk allowed to say one more thing?
I think you're allowed to say whatever you want on this show.
Well, I don't think we need to say it. I think we just got it written.
Oh. Wait, it would help if you swap
What does
places
that
with
say?
her.
No, camera's right.
Oh.
Make it.
Because right now it says Megan's you view wrong.
Oh.
There
we go.
You view me wrong.
Meg wrong.
It was a good.
All right.
I think by that notion, Megan wins.
Actually pretty good.
She had better points.
Dale
Anyways,
liked
I think the individual sport, it definitely makes it harder. Thanks, guys. Let's see if we can get credentialed for the next Olympic Games. Maybe we'll do that someday.
Maybe Nick will be on them. Who knows?
Maybe we'll.
Yo, vote. Are they gonna vote for me?
Vote for Nick. Text 5 to 61593. Okay, that's it
694.
for this episode of the Pioneer Sideline.
Be sure to join us next week at the same Pioneer time.
The same Pioneer channel.
And the same Pioneer Sideline.